Hi, my name is Chris Ryan. Welcome to the Forest of Arden. In today's video, we're taking a look at why you might hit your iron shots dead straight, but struggle with a fade or a slice with your driver from the tee. So welcome back to the Forest of Arden and welcome back to your Friday. So this is the show where you can get involved and help me with the content. If you've got a topic you'd like me to cover, if you've got a question you'd like me to answer, or you've got a fault in your swing that you'd like me to help you with, then you can let me know in the comments box and I will be picking a few to do videos on going forward. Today we're answering a question from Ben Chertok, who was asking why he hits his irons straight or with a fraction of draw, but when he picks up the driver, he finds they're often moving on a fade ball flight. Sometimes they're turning into sort of slices which are missing the fairways on the right. Now, as always with these videos on the Friday, I'm trying to pick topics which I think are going to apply to a lot of golfers, and there may well be a lot of people out there who experience those exact same issues. The iron shots, they feel pretty good, the ball flight's nice and neutral, pick up the driver and suddenly it's turning into a fade or a slice. So in order to understand what is happening here, we need to look at the setups between an iron and a driver. So we're going to do that first. We explain why those things are going to happen, and then we're going to finish up the video with a couple of ideas that can help Ben neutralize that ball flight and get him to hit the driver on the same curve as he's hitting his irons. Right, here's a 6 iron. So I'm going to take my setup to this 6 iron. Obviously the ball's teed up for a driver. Let's just get myself set up here. Now, when I take my setup with a 6 iron, I've got the ball pretty close to the middle of my stance. It's probably just going to be fractionally forward of centre, but pretty close. And what that's going to mean is that my sternum, or the buttons on my shirt, are probably just behind the golf ball. So not a huge amount. Now, if Ben is hitting his iron shots with a fairly neutral flight, that means that when his club is contacting the golf ball, so when that club is pretty much under his buttons on his shirt, the path of his golf club is pretty neutral, possibly even a little bit out to the right of the target, because he said sometimes he can hit little draws. So he's got a delivery there which is pretty good. And I think a lot of people watching this video would quite like those delivery numbers to be able to hit that ball on that nice neutral ball flight. So let's go through what will happen when I set myself up with a driver. Well, there's a lot of differences when we set ourselves up with a driver, but the two main ones would probably be ball position and width of stance when we're looking at it from the front view. So I, with my driver, would like to have the golf ball much further up in the stance, probably somewhere close to this lead heel. And as I take a wider stance, what that does, it sets the buttons on my shirt or my sternum significantly behind the golf ball. So you can see now the buttons on my shirt are probably some 6 to 10 inches behind the golf ball. Very, very different setup. We need to set ourselves up that way because one, we've got quite low loft, and two, the ball is teed up. But that changes a lot of things down at impact. Let's go through why, and I'm going to make this pretty extreme initially, so I appreciate that my setup wouldn't be exactly like this with a driver, but let's say I've got my setup like this. When I make my golf swing and I deliver the club, when that club head is underneath my buttons, as with the 6 iron, it may well be that the path of my club at this point is pretty neutral, possibly even a little bit to the right of the target, exactly as it was with the irons. But the ball isn't there. The ball is significantly further forward. So when my golf club makes contact with the ball, the path of the club has started to change. It started to arc more inwards and move more left. The path that my golf club is on is never constant. It's ever changing because we're swinging on this arc. You can see how when I swing at this point, my golf club is travelling out to the right of the target. When my club is at this point, it's now travelling to the left of the target. So where we hit that ball on the arc will hugely influence the path. Now, if this concept, this idea is fairly new to you, I have done a video fairly recently on that. I will link it up here in the corner. Probably a good idea to watch that one and then maybe come back to this one. But as we push the ball further forward in the stance and we set our body more behind the golf ball, we effectively influence the path and make it go more left. When the path goes more left, guess what we get? Exactly as Ben says, he gets those fades, he gets those slice shots. And the key thing to point out here is it's not a swing fault. It's just the geometry of the way we swing means that moving the ball forward moves your path more to the left. Okay, how are we going to fix it? So we have path and we have attack angle. The two are related in a way. If I was to ask Ben to hit a drive and get his golf club to rise as much as he could through impact, so get his attack angle as positive as he can, there is a very good chance that in order to do that, he will change his swing direction. He will swing his golf club more out to the right, because moving my swing direction more out to the right moves my low point further back and helps my attack angle go more positive. So just the idea for Ben of actually hitting more up on the ball, I believe would help him create a swing direction which is more out to the right and help his path line up with where it is with the irons. It's such a simple idea, but it's giving the golfer a simple focus point which is going to influence a number of things. Just trying to get that golf club to work upwards, I think, will get his path a little bit more neutral. He could do other things like look at the inside of the ball. So looking at the inside of the ball is going to help him feel like he moves his path more out to the right. The chances are his club path is probably only 2 to 3 degrees left. It's not going to be huge, so we don't need to make huge changes to this technique. And because we haven't got to make huge changes, I would look initially to make those changes through some concepts, through some ideas, giving Ben some thoughts over the golf ball, which aren't going to be, crippling in his golf swing, but will hopefully help him deliver the club in a more neutral fashion. If I was to ask Ben to make his golf swing with a more downward hit, he would probably move his path more to the left. So as we change attack angle, we often see path change as well. So for Ben, hitting what he's going to feel is like high draws, we'll probably end up seeing him hit pretty neutral ball flights, very similar to what he's doing with his irons. Right, let's have a go. 17th hole requires a high draw, so I'm going to try and go ahead and do that. High draw, round the corner, that will leave me probably a mid-iron into this par 5, and certainly based on the ball flight, I know that my path was right. The trajectory would suggest that I also hit up on that golf ball as well. So Ben, hopefully there is some information in there which is going to help you when you practice next. And I've got an idea that quite a few of you viewing this video will have that same issue, that your irons are pretty straight, your driver tends to curve to the right. It's probably going to be due to the setup rather than a swing fault, but changing your concepts and your ideas and changing your attack angle can influence your path and help you hit that driver as straight as you're hitting those irons. Thank you very much for watching. As I said at the start, if you'd like me to cover a topic or a question, pop it in the comments box down below and I'll pick a few to do videos on moving forward. Also down there's a like button as well, and over here there is a button which will allow you to be a free subscriber of my channel. Would love to have you along for the journey. Thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you back here again soon.